back to the Triple Double Watch, guys. Today we are back with another NFL video. We got Week 2 recap and the Week 3 preview. Week 2 was a wild one. At least 3 of the craziest comebacks you'll see maybe all year. Dolphins, Jets, and who's the other one I'm forgetting about? We'll get into it as we go. But
Cardinals.
Crazy comeback. Cardinals, that's what it was. Yeah, so crazy games across the board. We'll go through all 16 real quick from Week 2, and then we'll hop right into Week 3. And what's our picks looking like? We'll say that first.
So we split on the week for Week 2. The differences, we had 4 of them. You had the Chargers and they lost. I had the Chiefs. You had Arizona and they won, and I had Vegas. You had, what was the other one? I'm not sure.
Eagles Vikings was one.
Yeah, there's supposed to be. There's I had Pittsburgh and you had New England. That was the one I was missing. And then I had the Eagles and you had Vikings. So we split. We both got 9 right. So I'm still 1 up on the season standings.
So is one week up. Also, we split this week, so far you've won 1 week. I have none so far.
Yep.
Hoping to change it around here in Week 3.
Not gonna happen.
But we mentioned Chiefs Chargers, really good Thursday night football game. Both teams were playing solid, not many mistakes. Defenses were holding up pretty well at times, and then Justin Herbert miscommunication with I think Gerald Everett. On the goal line, pick 6 for the Chiefs, 99-yard pick 6. I think if Chargers scored there, they were up 10 maybe, or up 7, something like that. Regardless, then Chiefs get up off the pick 6. And, it was pretty much over from there.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out from that game that I am a cracked rib whisperer. We were watching that game, and I predicted that when Herbert went out of the game hurt, I said he probably broke a rib. And that's apparently what happened. So there's also another event that happened this weekend that I predicted a cracked rib, but we'll move on. It's not NFL related.
So Herbert's questionable going into this week, day to day.
He'll
you
play.
Feel like it's something you probably grit out and play through, but
yeah,
we'll see. So moving on to Steelers Patriots. Patriots win this one 17-14.
Shocker.
Nothing crazy going on in this game. Both teams were just managing it as best as they could.
Two heavily struggling offenses.
But hey, win number 1 for the Patriots.
Yeah, let's go.
Moving on, Giants beat the Panthers 19-16. Yes, sir. Giants 2-0.
Shocker.
Oh my
Another shocker.
Gosh, it's the first time in I don't know. It was a long time. I saw the stat, but I don't remember. At least 8 years.
It's got to have been a long time since both New York teams won. And who was the other 2 that won? That was funny. The 2 New York teams, Detroit, and I forgot who the other team was.
Yeah, I know what you're
Anyway, it was
talking
kind of
about.
funny.
Also, the first time in a while, Jets, Giants, and Yankees and Mets all won on the same day. So, let's go to New York.
Yeah. Let's go.
But Giants win a weird one, too. A lot of field goals in that game. Giants have 4 field goals. Panthers have 3. Both offenses were all right, but we're getting stymied near the goal line and before that. But, hey, Giants 2-0. Congrats.
Yeah.
Panthers, I need you to get a win, though. I wanted you to be better this year.
Yeah, I'm going to need that to change as well.
Moving on, the Browns lose in shocking fashion and terrible fashion, in a fashion that should not happen in the NFL. The Jets beat them 31-30. They were up 24-17 late. Nick Chubb gets the ball right before the 2-minute warning, scores the touchdown, put them up 30-17. If he had gone down, inbounds, out of bounds, I don't even think it mattered. They could have kneeled and ran out the clock, something Nick Chubb's done before.
Yeah.
Now, regardless, when you're up 30-17 with under 2 minutes to play and the Jets have no timeouts, you should still win that very, very easily.
And missed the point after that touchdown.
What's the point after then? And the very first touchdown the Jets had was a 66-yarder to Corey Davis. And there was not a defender in sight. Like, I don't know how you can't have multiple 2, 3, 4 guys even deep in zone coverage when you're up by 2 touchdowns. That's just inexcusable. They get the onside kick. Plenty of time then, minute 10 to drive down, and Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco's that guy. He's just going to torment the NFC North or AFC North some more, I guess.
I mean, it would have been a great 2-0 start for the Browns with Jacoby Brissett. They're looking, as we record this, to go now 2-1 against the Steelers tonight, which is a very winnable game too. You could have been looking at a 3-0 start even, and this is the type of loss that can affect your season, your whole season, honestly.
Yep. So. I mean, if you start out 2-0, another winnable game tonight, 3-0, I mean, that's better than some people expected them to be. Some people expected them to not have 3 wins by the time Deshaun was back. So, could have been looking at a third tonight, but still looking at 2. So.
And Jacoby Brissett's a solid quarterback for this team, fill-in. It's been shown. He knows what he's doing. He's got a good run game with him. So, but yeah, just a loss you can't have. But moving on, the Jaguars beat the Colts 24-0.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Indianapolis.
Granted, they had no Michael Pittman. They had no Alec Pierce.
They did
basically
have
their
no
two
a lot.
wide receivers. But it's just it's bad to not score against Jacksonville. So
Yeah, I mean Jacksonville's looked better than expected, but yeah, Indianapolis has got way bigger hopes. So you sure hope they can bounce back soon, but they're not getting any it's not getting any easier with the schedule. This week they got Kansas City, so.
Yeah, I mean, you start out with Houston and Jacksonville. You want to start out 2-0, and
For sure.
now you're 0-1-1. So they need to turn it around quick too. Division's still going to be easy, and it's going to be up for grabs for sure. But you don't get forever in the NFL. So
Yeah.
moving on, we got the Dolphins beat the Ravens 42-38 in a wild game. Me and Ant were at the Cardinals game at the time, and we were keeping up with it. And last time we checked, Dolphins were down 2 touchdowns, and then boom, it was tied 5 minutes later. The fourth quarter was crazy. So.
Could have been a far different storyline. Lamar Jackson would have liked to have had his name in the news more than Tua, but Tua looked great. I mean, the receivers, obviously, you expect Waddle and Hill to be great, but they showed up, and yeah, I mean you can't fault Baltimore's offense for anything. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Lamar, I think, threw for over 300. I'm not sure. Don't have it by me, but he rushed for over 100. I know Tua almost threw for 500. At least 4 touchdowns, I think, maybe 5.
I think it's 5.
Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, insane. Great wide receivers for Tua, for sure. The Ravens' defense wasn't even that bad up until the 4th, and even in the 4th, they were just making some insane plays. But it seemed, I was watching the highlights back, and it's the same thing, though. Like, when you're up multiple touchdowns late, you can't allow the deep ball, and Tyreek had 1 for 60 yards. And I know Tyreek's fast, obviously, but, I mean, I had to have a guy 30 yards from the line of scrimmage ready just for that in those scenarios.
I think there was, on the Pat McAfee show, Darius Butler, he broke down film from a few of the games, and that was one of them. And there was it was either Butler or Hasselbeck. They got Hasselbeck on the show now, but one of them was doing film over that play where he just beat everybody, and I think it was a miscommunication or something. They said they broke it down. You can't let anybody in the NFL run past you like that, but especially not him. So.
Exactly. So. But good win for the Dolphins, 2-0. They look very legit going. We'll see just how legit they are next week going against Buffalo. So we'll get into that. Tampa Bay beats New Orleans 20-10 in a kind of slop fest type game. It was 3-3 for a little bit, 10-3 for a while, and then Jameis threw a pick 6 late. And Mike Evans is the big storyline of the week, honestly.
We have a UFC rivalry on our hands between Lattimore and Mike Evans here. This is not the first event.
No, and it was just kind of a funny scene almost, seeing the sideline and stuff for Tampa, and when Mike Evans ran out and stuff, ended up getting suspended 1 game. I don't know. It was funny to watch at least. I don't know.
The funny
It'll be
part
good
was
to
what he
watch
said
when they
after.
play in Tampa. So
The funny part is what he said after when they asked him why he did it or whatever. He said, "That's Tom Brady. What am I gonna do?"
exactly. So.
So
Moving along, Lions win 36-29 over Washington Commanders. Jared Goff looks really good, throws for 4 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a certified #1 wideout now. 100-yard game, 2 touchdowns, threw in a couple rushes for 58 yards, I think. They started off strong with a safety, really good defense. Washington stormed back late but couldn't get the job done. Carson Wentz still looks pretty good for Washington, but I like the direction of both these teams. I don't know if Washington will be in the mix come late or Detroit. I don't know if either of them will be, but I think they have an exciting season coming up for both.
yeah, for sure. Your predictions, you're still looking solid. The 9-8 season for Detroit might be coming soon.
I don't mind that prediction after seeing the first 2 weeks. That's what I was hoping for, is just at least see a solid first 2 weeks, and I have, so that's good. Moving on, San Francisco beats Seattle 27-7.
Biggest injury news of the week.
Yeah. What's that?
It's the biggest injury news of the week.
Yes, for sure. Trey Lance goes down early with an ankle injury, has season-ending surgery already. So it's officially Jimmy G time again. And
Yeah, I think they got better.
Yeah, the San Francisco fan base doesn't seem pleased about that from what I've seen. But it's what they're going to have to deal with.
I
now.
think they
There's
got better. I mean, that might be a little biased, but I love Jimmy G. I've thought from the start he should be the starter. So obviously it's going to hurt to try and switch your defense all the way back around. It was built around Trey, but I think they're in a much better scenario. I mean, Trey is a great player, but Jimmy G has led them to a Super Bowl and a NFC Championship appearance. So
Yeah, and doesn't mean Trey Lance couldn't have been a top 15 guy this year, but it's just so weird. It's so hard to go against a guy that did, like you said, take you to a Super Bowl. And Jimmy G doesn't have any wow and flash factor to him, but I mean, like I said, when you have a strong defense, good running game, he could be the best game manager in the NFL. And so I think they'll be fine still. My view of this team does not change at all.
yeah,
Moving on, Rams beat the Falcons 31-27, was it? Yeah, 31-27. Rams were up big, like 30, I think it was like 28-7 or 31-7 at one point. They tried to blow it. Blocked punt, returned for a touchdown for Atlanta late. Atlanta even had the ball at the end of the game, driving down, trying to win. Couldn't get it done. The Rams are scaring me, to be honest. I don't know how I feel about this team anymore.
yeah. I mean, it's both of the Super Bowl teams are looking very questionable compared to what they were at the end of last year, obviously. But I mean, I knew after week 1. I mean, the Bills are a juggernaut, but to get beat that bad at home is still not a good look. And then you got Atlanta at home, so week 2, and they give you a fight. No hate on Atlanta, but you should definitely run away with that game. And like you said, they were up big, so don't want to see that.
So moving on, Cardinals beat the Raiders 29-23 in overtime in one of the other wildest games of the week. Raiders were up 20-0 at halftime, 23-7 after 3, I think, or at some time in the second half. Cardinals come storming back, 2 separate touchdown drives, get the 2-point conversion both times. One of them, Kyler Murray, had over 20 seconds, literally. You can see that clip somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's been everywhere.
Kyler Murray, heroics to get it to OT. Raiders are driving down in Arizona territory in overtime, only needing a field goal, and then a fumble. All hell breaks loose, and Arizona scoops it.
Huge hit.
All the way back.
Huge hit on Renfro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wild one.
I needed that for the
Didn't help my picks or my prediction of the Raiders season. Not a great start 0-2, so and obviously they're not going to have much of a let up. They have a rough division schedule, so hopefully they can bounce back this week.
Broncos beat the Texans 16-9. I don't know. The more I look at my Broncos 6-11, I think, or maybe I even said 5-12. I don't think it's that wild. Yes, they could still easily finish 9-8, 10-7. It's early, but they don't look spectacular by any means anywhere across the board.
No,
So,
definitely not. Judy hurt in that game, questionable for this week. So, yeah, they don't look as good as I expected. But it's still early. New quarterback, new coach. So,
yep. Cooper Rush for the Cowboys gets it done. Wins over the Bengals 20-17. More impressed by how the Cowboys got it done, or that the Bengals didn't?
Impressed would be Cowboys. Shocked would be the Bengals not getting done. They look like they're back to what they were a couple years ago. The so-called improved O-line is not performing. The defense is not great. So, like I said, both of the Super Bowl teams don't look too hot to start this year. So, hopefully that offense can carry the weight and the O-line can pick it up.
Yeah, I'm a little bit slower to hit panic on Cincinnati. Like I said, I think Week 1 was still just a crazy fluke with the missed field goals, Joe Burrow 4 interceptions. This week was a rough game, a weird game in general too. The offense, like you said, the O-line needs to pick it up. O-line picks it up at all, I think this team will be fine. But once again, 0-2 in the NFL, you know, pick it up sooner rather than later. So
Yeah. The Pat McAfee show. I'm going to talk about them a lot. You guys, if you watch the show, I watch it a lot. They had a little graphic up the other day that showed record after first 2 weeks and their percentage to make the playoffs, and I think it was like 41% or something if you're 0-2, or maybe if that was 1-1. I don't remember. 2-0 was like 60%. It's a drastic difference if you start the year 0-2 versus 2-0 or even 1-1. So it's you got to get it turned around quick in the NFL. Like you said, 0-2 is not a great start.
yeah, and that's why I'm a little less panicked about some of these teams, though, is because historically those are in 16 game seasons with 6 playoff teams. So you got a little bit more leeway now. You got 17 weeks or 17 games, and 7 teams make the playoffs. So you get a little bit more leeway, but regardless, schedules don't lighten up by any means. So yeah.
Sunday came to a whine with a game that was not in rain. It was not raining this time. Just saying.
It's not.
But yeah.
And the Packers beat the Bears 27-10.
Now, I'm not gonna lie though. The first Bears drive was pretty impressive. They walked it down. They walked it down pretty easily. So if they can figure that out on a regular basis, they might be pretty decent.
This Packers team is still pretty stacked. I think Week 1 was good to get in the rear view mirror. Rodgers looked good. The ground game was great. Defense was amazing. A-Rod still owns them. So
he does. That's true.
Moving on to Monday Night Football, we had 2 of them. First one, Bills beat the Titans 41-7.
It's a great night. Buffalo killed Tennessee. I didn't expect it to be that bad. But fantasy-wise, I'm just going to throw this in there. I have Diggs and Allen on one of my teams, and I was facing Logan. I think I was down like 55 going into the night, and ended up winning because those boys popped off. I picked Diggs for the MVP, and you picked Allen, and I said before we filmed that I don't know if I can decide between the two. I mean,
I might give it to Diggs. He had 3 touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3, but yeah, regardless, 2 weeks, like we said, is early in the NFL, but at the same time, no one looks on their tier right now through 2 weeks. No one in the NFC, no one in the AFC, barring massive injuries to pieces on their defense or, hopefully not anybody huge. This team looks unstoppable already.
No, I wouldn't say
against a still decent Titans team, and then they already dominated the Super Bowl champs, 31-10. My goodness.
I mean, it's definitely impressive, but I wouldn't say nobody's on their tier. Kansas City looks nasty.
That's true.
They
Sure,
beat
that's
a
true.
really good Chargers team, and they killed the Cardinals. So
Yeah.
um, they're probably the number 2 for the AFC. I will say that the AFC is looking way better than the NFC so far.
Yep.
So and then,
Moving over to the NFC. Oh, go ahead.
well, I was going to transition into this game, Minnesota and Philadelphia. Um, it was so it was a good one. I was watching it a little biased. I had a little moolah on the line with Adam Thielen. Kirk sucks. Anyways, I pushed, just for reference,
I
$30
needed
profit.
Hurts and Goddard to have under 35 fantasy points because I was up 35 going against them. Hurts had like 25 just in the first half. It was already over by halftime. So
Yeah.
that one stung because ESPN still gave me a 60% chance, and I was like, I don't know if that's legit, and it clearly wasn't.
Yeah, this felt like our biggest difference of the week. You had Minnesota winning it, and I had Philly, and Philly looked great. I'm not gonna lie, and Hurts has been pretty impressive. Um, AJ Brown's looked pretty good as well.
The Minnesota 6-0 that I predicted is dead.
Yeah, it is completely dead. Kirk Cousins is trash on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I should have seen that he was playing on Monday Night Football in
Yeah.
our preseason and predicted 5-1.
Well, I should have
And
never
that's
bet
what
on
we
it.
did.
I should have never bet on a guy that needs the ball thrown to him like Kirk on Monday nights. But that's week 1. We split. We both got 9 right. You had Herbert for Player of the Week, and they didn't win. So my Cooper Cup Player of the Week is automatically better than you.
That was pretty good in general. 100 yards, 2 TDs for Cooper.
Yeah.
Cooper
So let's move into week 3
Yep, Thursday Night Football.
tonight. As we
You'll be seeing
film,
this
this will probably be
tomorrow,
posted
so what happened. Trust us.
sometime
from
before
the past.
Sunday. Let's both talk at the same time. All right. Thursday Night Football, Pittsburgh at Cleveland. I'm going with Cleveland.
I'm also going with Cleveland. My player of the game is Myles Garrett. I'm going a big strip sack or something from him.
You know, so far the defensive player of the game predictions haven't looked too great, but
I got to do one a week still, at least.
yeah, I think I got one. This one too. So I went Nick Chubb. So New Orleans and Carolina is bright and early Sunday. Well, bright and early on the West Coast. Anyways, New Orleans, Carolina. I'm going New Orleans on the road.
Ooh, okay. I'm going Carolina. Picking up W number 1. MVP, Christian McCaffrey.
All right, I went with Michael Thomas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he looks decent so far. So
Decent.
all right, yeah, pretty decent. Houston is at Chicago, and hopefully the forecast looks a little different this time around at Soldier. I'm rolling with Chicago.
I'm rolling with Chicago, too. MVP, I got Justin Fields.
No,
sorry. That's a lie. I got David Montgomery. I
Well-
just kind of was on autopilot for a second. I wrote down Montgomery, and I'm going with Montgomery.
Well, I said I got Fields. So we got the struggling Indianapolis Colts at home against Kansas City. I went Kansas City. I think Indianapolis is just it's not a great start. They're gonna have to figure something out.
I was tempted to go crazy and take Indy to bounce back, but I can't do it realistically. Maybe if I was picking the spread, I might take Indy, but straight up here I'm taking the Chiefs and I'm going Mahomes MVP.
I also went Pat.
What else do you go besides Mahomes anyway?
It's a pretty easy one. I mean you got Kelsey, but like we mentioned, big matchup. You got Buffalo against the hot Miami Dolphins, and Miami. I think the juggernaut's going to continue though.
I do also. I'm not unbelieving in the Bills until I see it, so
I'm on the same
picking
boat.
against them, please.
I'm on the same
But
boat.
Josh Allen.
I'm going Diggs again. We're gonna continue this this trend, I guess.
Gabe
So
Davis is back, so Diggs will take a little bit of a backseat.
he's still gonna get 2 or 3. I got him in multiple fantasy teams. I'm big. I'm big on Diggs. Detroit at Minnesota. I'm going with Minnesota is going to bounce back, and Dalvin Cook is going to be the MVP.
Also going to Minnesota bounce back. I think this will be one of the greatest games of the week too, though. Both
sure.
teams could really get their season rolling with a win here. But I'm going Minnesota. I'm going Justin Jefferson as my MVP.
I'm not picking Kirk or Adam Thielen. No, it really wasn't Adam Thielen's fault. He didn't even have a target through the first 3 quarters, but he still pushed.
He caught everything coming his way in the fourth.
Shout out Adam. Baltimore and New England.
Yeah, I'm going Baltimore.
Yeah,
First time not picking New England this season. We're gonna go Baltimore.
You went 1-1 picking them at least.
No.
What?
I said, yeah, good enough.
Yeah. I also went with Lamar, so it's kind of hard to pick other than that. Cincinnati is at the New York Jets.
It better be Cincinnati. I'm taking them in my Eliminator Challenge. I'm in on ESPN, so Cincinnati is getting the W. Joe Shiesty, he's going for 300 yards, 3 TDs this week.
Oh, I went with Jamar Chase. It's kind of hard not to do that for me. I will also mention if the Jets win, my player of the game will be CJ Uzomah because he's facing his former team.
Yeah. Even if he doesn't record a catch, he's the MVP for them.
Yep. Vegas is at Tennessee.
I'm going Vegas. Battle of 0-2s, disappointing 0-2s. But Tennessee feels pretty real. They played Buffalo, but they feel like a worse team than last year significantly. I think Raiders get it done this week, and then I'm going Devontae Adams MVP.
I'm going with Darren Waller. I need you to trade to me in fantasy, so I have him in all 3 of my leagues. Now.
We'll get on that again after.
Philadelphia at Washington.
I'm going Philadelphia.
I'm also going with
Hardly
Philadelphia.
wanted to pick Washington since they were at home, but Philadelphia going AJ Brown MVP.
And I went with Hurts. Jacksonville at the Chargers.
I'm going Chargers.
Same.
But since Herbert's kind of injured, maybe they go a strong ground game. Jonathan Taylor was big week 1 against Jacksonville, so I'm going Austin Eckler this week as the MVP.
I'm going with Keenan Allen. Justin Herbert's that guy. He's a dog. He's playing through that. So Rams at Cardinals.
Yeah, I think this is going to tell me a lot about how I feel about both teams. I was pretty high on both teams. I think I picked Cardinals like 13-4, and until a huge play last week, they were looking at 0-2. So they still have time to right the ship. Same with the Rams. This will show me where I think both teams are after this week. But I'm going to go Cardinals, actually. I'm going to go Kyler Murray MVP.
Well, I'm going with the Rams, and I'm going Jalen Ramsey. He had a pretty good bounce back week, so we're gonna stick with him. Although he got embarrassed by Stephon Diggs week 1. Here's a mid off, maybe worse than mid. Atlanta is at Seattle.
Yeah, it's worse than mid.
Yeah.
I'm going Atlanta though, and I'm gonna go maybe the few times I say this as Marcus Mariota MVP of the game.
I'm gonna go with Seattle and DK Metcalf. So that leads us to Green Bay and Tampa Bay, a couple teams that have 0 receivers left over that are fully healthy.
Yeah, a whole lot going on in the Bays as far as wide receivers. Everybody's injured. There's signing practice squad players left and right. I'm going Bucks though, and I'm going Tom Brady to figure it out with whoever he has left going into the next.
I'm going with Bucks as well. partially because they're just at home and their defense. Two great defenses, so that should be even more interesting. A lot of gritty receivers are going to be out there, but I'm going to go with Leonard Fournette.
None of the gritty receivers get it done.
No, they're not good enough. So we got. This is Sunday Night Football, I'm assuming, because of the order these were written. San Francisco at Denver.
Going San Francisco. The Jimmy G era restarts.
I'm going Jimmy G in San Francisco as well.
MVP, I got Debo, though.
Well, I'm going Jimmy G. Sticking with the train. All right, Monday Night Football. Cooper Rush is heading to New York for the rivalry against the Giants, and he is going to get a dub.
He's getting the MVP for me.
Oh, wow. I went with CD, so part of that's going to have to be old Coop.
Yep.
All right, so we got...
MVP of the week.
Yeah.
Do this real quick. I'm going to be Joe Burrow, like I said. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, maybe even more. I need him for my Eliminator Challenge. I'm all in on the Bengals this week. Right the ship.
This one's tough. There's a lot of ones that I like. We're going to go... I kind of like... I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. We're going to make this a little interesting. Same game. Both picking the same game MVP. Yeah,
right,
so I'm going to.
What does Jamar have to do
to outperform?
Well, I mean, establish this right now.
We said Diggs was probably better than Allen, so something like that.
Say 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, or 150 yards, 1 touchdown.
All right. As long as Burrow doesn't go berserk, I feel confident in that. So we got 1, 2. Just 2? Oh, 3. 3 differences. So, somebody.
What was it, Cardinals, Rams?
Cardinals, Rams, Atlanta, Seattle, and New Orleans, Carolina.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to be up 4 after this week. Let's go. Anyways, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Probably going forward, this will be split into 2 videos, so it's not. This is probably we're going to be looking at 30+ minutes here. So going forward, this will be shorter, quicker. So look out for those. Have a good Thursday night football for those that can watch. So yeah.
Yep, sounds good. Until next time.